I'm Harry Matthews, a precinct commitment in Gilbert and a homeowner and taxpayer. In 2015, all eyes are on the presidential election coming up next year, so this is the perfect time to tax Arizonans into poverty. Government employee unions, government contractors, and other big government types have every incentive to throw money into political action committees for the purposes of raising taxes. For them, it's just the cost of doing business. But ever-increasing taxes without oversight is like giving a blank check to a shopaholic. Those of us who pay for these tax hikes and our property taxes have nothing to gain and everything to lose. But we spend so much of our time working to pay these taxes, we don't have time or money to fight ever-increasing taxes. And it is especially difficult in an off-cycle election when the already generally apathetic voter is just not paying attention. It takes a lot of time and energy to devote to understanding the issues, and people just don't want to have to go through this every year, which is why off-cycle elections must end. And this year has been particularly devastating to Arizona taxpayers, and it just keeps getting worse. This year, our property taxes going to the local public schools increased to $5.25 per $100 of property value, which has doubled in the past 4 years. This was before the November off-cycle election took place. This election brought $18.6 million override, which goes to the public schools, which had already gotten a $7.1 million boost from property taxes last year. And we also got a $98 million bond, which is also for discretionary spending, which amounts to a 20-year third mortgage on every property in Gilbert for the next 20 years. $30 million in interest on top of that, and then we have another $100 million that the school already owes in debt. So on top of that, Social Security will not be adjusted this year because inflation is near zero. Arizona is 41st out of 50 states for GDP per capita, and we have been trending downward in recent years. Now we have learned that the Gilbert Town Council gave a no-bid contract of $732,000 to a company to do a preliminary study for building a 242-acre park in Gilbert. This is a massive project and will certainly lead to yet another huge bond. Today, we just found out that Mesa is also wanting to expand their parks, which will be yet another bond and tax increase. And we are also looking at a $3.5 billion increase in the spring in yet another initiative for, you guessed it, public schools. Yet again, even though this election brought the schools hundreds of millions of dollars in new bonds and overrides. Phoenix just this year got over $30 billion in new taxes. And the story is the same all over the state. We just found out today that according to the Clarion Project, that there are 3 radicalized mosques in the East Valley alone. Does Cloward Piven ring a bell, anyone? All this is going on while hardly anyone is paying attention. But those that are paying even a little bit of attention are bombarded by massive ad campaigns exclaiming that we must have immediate, massive increase in government spending or everyone's child will suffer. Ads funded in large part by those entities that stand to make huge profits off of higher taxes. It's time to put an end to off-cycle elections before it's too late.